Dr. Connie will grab the microphone. He's the man who sleep with the industry problems, the CEO of the chamber. Dr. Connie, we know that mining project starts with exploration. And mostly when you have high intense exploration activities, it tells that soon one will be going to development. For some time now, I don't know what the statistics is. We would want you to tell us what Ghana is doing in terms of attracting exploration. Again, when we look back, when the corporate taxes were moved from 25 to 35%, and the capital allowances were dropped to 5%, take it or leave it, a lot of people started grumbling that Ghana is actually becoming expensive for mining. Could this be the reason why exploration is not going as expected? Tell us what the story is.
Thank you very much, Doc. Anna Chairman, a good friend, with your permission, I would really want to stand on the already expressed protocols, and we'll go straight to the point. A number of things have been said here, Mr. Chairman, but I will always want to go back to base. That we have had FDI in the mining industry in Ghana for a number of years. And yet we know that we are in a transition. It's a good transition for us, which the Ghana Chamber of Mines supports. Transition to ensure that we have our own, also owning mines and running mines in parallel with FDIs. So that should be the objective. And I'm quite excited to see Fred, my good friend Fred, coming from the stables of a multinational firm 2 times, now heading an indigenously owned mining company. Fred, congratulations. At the same time, I also heard what my good friend Anna spoke about prospects for small-scale mining. No two ways about it. That essentially is pure 100% local content. But of course, the strength of MIF, the springboard for MIF now, is on the shoulders of the Alaska Mining Company. It just tells you that if we are able to harness the presence of FDI in our country, we can leverage that for the greater good. All we need to do is to be looking ahead, working in partnership, not a kind of adversarial relationship, but saying that we know that you have the capital, you have the expertise, you have the competence, we are inviting you to come in here. And once you come, we have a plan. The plan is that within 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, we should have a MIF. We should have an indigenous owned mine. In fact, next to Fred is another mine, also 100% owned by a Ghanaian company. That should be the vision. And I think that we should all understand how the mining industry, backed by foreign direct investment over the years, is actually transitioning to allow us, based upon our own vision and our strategy, to take advantage for our own benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Connie. Thank you. I think we'll come back.
And you spoke succinctly about exploration and the challenges of exploration. And I'm quite emotional sometimes when I speak about exploration, because see, it's like the whole country has left this important matter to the Ghana Chamber of Mines to champion. And it hurts, because without exploration, you wouldn't find, Adams. You wouldn't find Asante Gold. In fact, you cannot get a MIF. So today, I'm making a clarion call on all of us, Nana Chairman, with due respect, that we have, all of us, we have a vested interest. Anybody who has an interest in the mining industry should also have a vested interest in how exploration is actually attracted into this country. Because we have been the lone boys. And without exploration, that effectively is the bedrock of the mining industry. Literally, without that bedrock of exploration, you can't talk about a vision for the mining industry. Because we all know that mineral resources are finite. And therefore, if they are so finite, we should show interest in how we develop these resources. But we generally are quite happy collecting royalties. and nobody has questions. All of us, we want to build a grand coalition of how we can be competitive in attracting investment into exploration. We are the #1 gold producer in Africa. But I started to think that in the next few years, we are not careful, we'll be overtaken. Within West Africa, Burkina Faso is the largest mining company in terms of growth in the last few years. Their growth trajectory is amazing. Why? Because they continue to attract investment into exploration. Same with Côte d'Ivoire, to some extent, Mali. And it's essentially how we have actually treated exploration. In our fiscal space, fiscal regime, we have treated exploration as though companies who come into that space are making money. And therefore, even before you break ground, you go to someone to go and hire a drill machine to come and do drilling for you. He has to charge you VAT and other inputs. Same with assaying. Because this is the hard core of exploration. And most exploration companies may not have the deep pockets to have their own drill rigs and do their own assaying. You would effectively rely on mine support service company. It's a major bane for exploration, Mr. Chairman. So I think that we need to step back and say, what can we do? Sometimes I don't like going into concepts too much. But in business, there's something we call loss leadership. The concept goes like, yes, in the initial phase, you're assuming that you're running at a loss. But you know that medium to long term, you make a good cut. That is what we should be applying. So as we speak, in fact, a few years ago, I attended a conference in Burkina Faso. And the then High Commissioner for Canada, who was also responsible for Ghana, pulled me to the side because I was amazed about the number of investors from Canada. And he told me, Mr. Kone, if you guys don't recalibrate your fiscal regime for exploration, you are going to lose it. And the numbers don't lie. So, to answer your question, the fiscal regime is not too favorable. And we may be tickling ourselves in thinking that we are in a good, sweet spot. But trust me, 5 to 10 years down the road, if we don't tweak our fiscal regime, if we don't all come together, that grand coalition, making the kind of advocacy for private people to put their money, because you see, exploration is so risky. 10 to 15% success rate globally. And someone brings tens of billions of dollars to come into exploration, to do exploration in your country. And then before he even makes a commercial find, effectively we are taxing the person. So I think that the fiscal regime is a disincentive for exploration. And we need to be deliberate about it. In a nutshell, that is a problem. Over and above that, there are security issues for exploration companies. You speak with them and they say, look, I have large tracts of land I'm supposed to be exploring because generally we know how it is. We reduce the size and so on and so forth. When you have actually decided that a certain portion of your tenement is not interesting to you, relinquish to government. But because these companies don't have the deep pockets like large-scale mining companies, they are not able to deploy on a regular basis security on the mine. And you have illegal miners encroaching, decimating their concessions and all of that. We need to have a strategy because we know that that is the hen that lays the golden egg. That segment of mining, which is exploration, is critical. Exploration security is one. The other one is land holding costs. If you consider how much an exploration company spends to hold onto its land compared to what happens in, say, Burkina Faso and Mali, you'll be amazed. Sometimes 2 times, 4 times. So the reality is that we are #1, but we are not sitting in a sweet spot. We need to do something. And here we need a grand coalition because the industry is important to MIF, it's important to me. In fact, it's important to humans, all of us. And if this is the bedrock of mining, the real, action point for mining, then we should all be asking questions. How are we doing as far as exploration is concerned? But if we sit aloof and assume that things are rosy, we are number one, we wake up one day and ask questions. What happened to us? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, you've said it all. You have said it all. The net effect of exploration and its linkages is clear. Our geology students may not find jobs, unfortunately. Our geomatic engineers may not find jobs. So it's very key. And I know the voice of Ghana Mining Week goes very far. Now, let's speak with Angela List. Yes. Angela, you can grab that one. Angela is running a mine, Adamus Gold Mine, one of successful mines here in Ghana. We just want to hear from her point of view. As a lady, as somebody who is looking to drive investment to expand, the frontiers of Adamus, how are you managing this, Angela? Tell us the Adamus story.
Got it. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, may I stand on all protocols? The Adamus story is quite a humble one. It started in London over lunch, where a good friend of mine told me about the sale of Adamus Resources. Prior to that, my experience was in contract mining. And his words to me were, Angela, you're a Ghanaian. I think you should look at this opportunity. There are several people looking at it. And when he mentioned, sort of what they were expecting in terms of the sale value, I laughed. I thought, wow, okay, that's a bit ambitious. But somehow, we were able to reach some compromise on how we would go about it. It was very daring on my part, I must say. This was a mine with a very short mine life. It had about 8 months to go. And so for an investor, it just didn't make sense. However, I'm pleased to say that by the grace of God and with a strong team, we have managed to mine beyond the 2019 life mine, and we still have, with our oxides, another year to go. Is that better? And sulfide potential between 5 to 7 years. The growth, thank you. The growth continued in a very quiet way. In 2017, we acquired a second mine in Mali from Endeavour Mining, the same company that we acquired Adamus from. And in 2019, acquired a mine in Niger, which was previously owned by Semafo from Canada. In 2019, we acquired shares in the Konongo mine, formerly Owerri, which is now Northern Ashanti. And again, I'm proud to say, Dr. Saki is here. After 13 years of dormancy, we are about to restart operations at Konongo. We've started, thank you. Konongo now has a mine life of 27 years, with 80% in oxides and 20% fresh. We hope to double that. We're embarking on a drilling program in 6 new pits. So, Fred, sorry to say, but we preceded Santi. And another amazing story to tell, Myth. Hopefully you'll come and support us. We've previously been supported by the likes of Standard Chartered Bank and EcoBank, but would appreciate support in growing this further. Just to reiterate what Sule said on exploration, Exploration has been key to our success, both at Adamos and Konongo. When we acquired Adamos, we had to hit the ground running from VTEM to aggressive exploration. That's the only way we have added to the life of this mine, because it was disheartening to think that we would have to lay over 1,000 people off. The community has been extremely supportive, and with all the hard work, we hope that it will pay off. But really, the support of the government is needed in terms of rebates on exploration. It is an expensive exercise, and you don't always find something. I think the likes of Norway would refund exploration costs to those who ventured into oil exploration, for example. And I think if the government could assist in encouraging investment in exploration, it would really help sustain not only the Ejapes, if they come to be, but also the community mining that the government seems to be driving, because these community mines are thriving on areas that companies have invested in, and it's unfair to give them away without giving back to those who have spent, enormous amounts of money into these exploration works. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angela. When Angela mentioned Konongo, I felt some nostalgia because that's where I started my mining career, and I'm excited that you are going back to rebuild that mine. I think we'll open the floor now to take some questions from you. You've heard from the myth, you've heard from the chamber, CEO, you've heard from Uncle Fred, from Asante Gold, and Angela has just given you her perspective as an investor. I can see a hand here. Please, somebody should help me. I think Dr. Kokofu.
Thank you, Moderator. To CEO Myth, I did not hear you talking about collaboration or any partnership with EPA, though you have an array of partners. That notwithstanding, I'm still happy you are trying to collaborate with the small-scale mining and then the quarry mining. As part of the formalization and trying to regulate the small-scale mining sector, Environmental Protection Agency is on the verge. Indeed, this coming second quarter to implement the posting of reclamation bond to the small-scale miners and then the quarry sector. So my question is, would your outfit incorporate this responsibility that is coming onto the small-scale mining and the quarry sector into your incubation agenda? And this is not a new law, I must say. It is embedded in the regulation LI 1652 of the Environmental Protection Agency of 1999, Regulation 23, and it's clear. All mining activities, you need to post reclamation bonds. So,
thank you. I think we'll take two more questions before we start with the answers. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so now you can provide the answer.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable. forgive me, I think that was a slip. EPA is actually one of the stakeholders, one of the many stakeholders that are very primary for the incubation program. On the issue of reclamation for the small-scale miners, I know that's the law, but I think, or this is my opinion, I think the way the sector is not well formalized affects the implementation of certain laws, which includes the reclamation bond. So perhaps what we are putting forth, our program, which is the incubation program, leads to formalization, and perhaps then we can bring in the bond. But at this point, I'm not too sure how well you'll be able to implement that policy because of the fragmented nature of the sector. But it's a policy decision, and I believe that you have the resource and the capacity to do that. If you're able to do that, that's fine with us.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that is all. I think at this juncture, I would like to thank you, Lady Angela List, Uncle Fred Atakuma, I call him Uncle Fred, Mr. Fred Atakuma, and Dr. Suleiman Ukoni, and Mr. Edward Nanaya Okuranten. I thank you all, and I thank you all for giving us your support.